All right, so today we're going to follow up with what we talked about yesterday. Yesterday we did distance and midpoint. What is the distance formula? D equals what?
Square root
X minus
X
squared.
That was a lot of correctness right there. You were right. Distance equals the square root of the difference in our x squared plus the difference in our y squared. Good. Okay, what do we do to find the midpoint?
Average our x and y and divide them by 2.
Add x1 divide by 2, y 2, y1.
Yes. You average your x's, you average y's. All right. So let's take a look at the answers here. Okay. So if we look at this first one, if we find the distance first, and it doesn't matter which one's our first, what we consider our first point and our second point. No, it doesn't, as long as we're consistent. So if we called this x2, y2, we would start with that one, x1, y1, but it doesn't matter. We could do it the other way also. Did you get the square root of 130?
Yes.
Okay, does anyone need to see that one, or are we okay?
We're okay.
We're okay. Okay, did you get the point was 7 halves and 5 halves?
Yes.
Okay, or you could have written 3.5 and 2.5.
Yes.
Completely fine. Okay, number 2, did you get a distance of the square root of 32, which you then simplified by writing the factors of 32, 16 times 4, into 4 root 2.
Yes.
Great. And the midpoint of this one is the point -2, 4.
Yes.
Great. Last one. The distance is the square root of 305.
Yes.
I couldn't find a way to make that simplified. Could you?
No.
Great. Let's leave it like that. And the midpoint is the point -3, 1/2, or 0.5. Yay? We're all good. Okay.
Yes.
Now, today what we want to do is find the, and I left this word out of your directions. That's a very important word. Find the shortest distance between a point and a line. So please add that to your worksheet. I left this word out. Put it back in for me. We're going to find the shortest distance between a point and a line. So I'm going to start looking at this number 1. Y equals 2x plus 3, and the point 1, 0. So here's the point 1, 0. Y equals 2x plus 3, so there's my y-intercept, up 2 over 1. Go grab my drawing tool, see if I can draw a straight line through here. No, I can't. Let's see if I can shift it to where there is a line through there. Close. We'll go with that. All right. Now, I want to find the distance between this line and this point. I need ideas.
To the point closest, or like to the x-intercept, how far is from the
Use the
x-intercept?
distance.
Okay? All right, Ben, you got some ideas?
What's the
Okay.
question?
Well, ideas. What do we do?
You use the distance
I
formula
don't-
between
We
the
draw a triangle.
x-intercept and the...
Draw a triangle.
Draw perpendicular.
Draw in a perpendicular line. That's good. Draw in a perpendicular line. All right, let's see if I can draw one in. That's not very perpendicular, is it? Okay, let's see if I can finagle it. I'm trying. Does that look perpendicular? Closer.
No, not at all.
Not at all. I got a not at all. You guys are so with me, aren't
Move
you?
that one up.
Oh,
Not shrinking up.
all right. I'm about to let you play with this.
He's terrible.
It is terrible. I agree.
Tyler, you do it. I want to see you do it.
There you go.
That's better?
A little more. You were getting there.
Ha!
Is that
That
perfect?
looks perfect. Wow, that is amazing. Okay. I know you don't really agree. All right, but that's a perpendicular line. I like that idea. Why would that be good?
Because that means it's the closest distance to 1.
Very good. That's our closest distance to the line. So what I'm looking for is this distance right here. Now, I'm not going to always be able to draw as perfectly as I did here. I got real lucky. So we have to come up with a way to find this point here so that we can find that distance between the point we were given and the point where a perpendicular line passes through the given point. Perpendicular. What do I know about perpendicular? Forms right angles. What do I know about slopes and perpendicular lines? The slopes of perpendicular lines are what? I'm not leading you well because none of you are answering.
Perpendicular.
They are opposite sides and what? Opposite signs and reciprocals. So this line has a slope of 2. So a line perpendicular to that would have, perpendicular slope would be, what's reciprocal of 2?
Negative.
1/2, and opposite sign would make it negative. Good. Opposite reciprocal. So the slope of the dash line, this dash line will have a slope of -1/2. Well, does it? Yes, thanks to the drawing tool, because I wouldn't be able to, well. But thanks to the drawing tool, it certainly does. It has a slope of -1/2. All right, so now I have a slope, and I have a point. What can I do to find an equation if I have a slope and a point? What could I use when I have a point and a slope? Point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we're going to plug in our point. The y value for this point is 0. The slope is -1/2. And the x value is 1. So the equation for the dashed line is y equals -1/2 x plus 1/2. Okay, and my equation for the original line was y equals 2x plus 3. How can I find algebraically, not by looking at the graph, because we already cheated and looked at the graph. How can I find where these two lines intersect? Because I need that point. That's the point I need. How, if I have two equations, how can I find their intersection? I can do a system. Solve a system. What are my different methods for solving a system? Substitution. To solve a system, we can use substitution or elimination.
What about where you put plug 0 in? Or like you shade it and you pick a point inside of the shading and see if it's.
That's when we have inequalities.
Okay.
Okay, so for this, we're going to use substitution or elimination. Well, substitution is pretty easy to use on this one, isn't it? Y equals this, so can't we just sub that in for y? So we get 2x plus 3, which we are going to sub in for this y, is equal to the -1/2 x plus 1/2. And we just solve. Variables to one side, 2.5. X equals -2.5. So what does x equal? -1. I could have written that as 5/2. Mathematically, that would have been nicer. But any number divided by its opposite is -1. So how do I find the y value here? If I didn't have the graph, what would I do with this x to find the y? N. So we get y equals, I'm just going to plug into this second one because it doesn't have fractions.
Would you get the same answer?
Yes, you would. Good question. And I get out positive 1. So I know that this point here, even though I can read it clearly off the graph, I know algebraically it is -1, 1. So how do I find the distance between this point and we're back to this point? Distance formula. So what I would do is distance is equal to the difference in your x's squared, 1 minus negative 1 squared, plus the difference in your y's squared, minus 1 squared.
Takes a while.
It does. It definitely takes a while to explain the first time, but it's not a real quick process, is it? So we get 2 squared here, because that makes a plus. 2 squared is 4. Negative 1 squared is positive 1. So the distance is the square root of 5.
So all that's necessary for one.
Okay, so let's revisit what we did. The first thing we did, step 1, is we found the slope, find the slope of the perpendicular line. You should have the steps, yes. And then 2, find the equation.
Pardon the interruption. Teachers, I know some of you had some problems connecting to Infinite Campus this morning. Those should be corrected at this point. So if you want to go ahead and do your 9 o'clock attendance, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so the next thing we do is find the equation of the perpendicular line using that perpendicular slope and the point that was given. And then the next thing we did was find the intersection of the 2 lines, find the point of intersection. And we did that by solving the system. And you can choose either substitution or elimination. Substitution or elimination. Because you won't always have graph paper. And then the last step is find the distance between those 2 points. Find the distance between the 2 points. The given point and the point of intersection. I guess I could write that.
Is it time for a U try?
I think number 2 is all about a U try. If you would like to, on number 2, use the graph to give you an idea of what it should look like, feel free, but I want to see the algebra.
Can you scroll down?
Sure, sure. Number 2 is your U try. Okay, I will walk around and check. Help. If you get stuck, let me know.